There are kids in this world who are different. Special.
In this episode, I'll be breaking down the 34th episode of 6 Minutes Season 4, piece by piece. Well, hello, Review Pop listeners, it's your Landon Mueller.
And we are here today to talk about episode 34 of 6 Minutes Season 4, called How to Out Psycho a Psycho.
And this week's episode is great.
The cliffhanger is really exciting, and I can't wait for the next episode. Some of you may have listened to last week's interview with David Kreisman. In that episode, we analyzed episode 433 of 6 Minutes, and he revealed some exciting information.
Aside from that interview,
there seems to be a big GZM announcement coming on June 6th. We know it's not related to the Natureverse, but still, I'm so excited to see what it will be.
Without further ado, let's get straight into this episode.
Adam, it's me, Remy, remember? Barbecues and game nights, you love it here in good old NJ. It's not just highways and factories.
This reminds me of the finale of Season 2 when Adam was controlling Badger.
He tried his best to fight off the controls, and the Anders reminded him of who he truly was.
We're seeing something similar here.
You can hear the incredible passion he has in his voice, and he doesn't want to hurt Remy. This sounds to me like he's really changed, but there's not much he can do. For a moment there, things looked up, but now that Jude has so much power over the bots, things are bound to change. When I had David Kreisman on the podcast last week, he said that we would ultimately want to see a merge of Bruce and Adam's character. You know, Adam can be himself, but sharing the decency of Bruce. I really hope we can see that, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
I'm sorry, I have to bring you where you belong.
This is home. This is where I belong.
Right, I think Sam on Stone did such a fantastic job voicing the scene. He was able to switch back and forth between a controlled Adam and a genuine Adam.
I definitely got the chills just hearing Adam say belong over and over again.
And you have to imagine what's going through his mind. Are there just a bunch of scrambled thoughts? And he probably doesn't know that he's being controlled. I'm sure this is easier for Penn and Casey to understand, but on the other hand, Remy has never witnessed this type of behavior. Maybe to some extent she thinks Adam is purposely doing this and that Casey shouldn't get involved. We've seen how Remy and Adam have built a connection and she doesn't want to jeopardize that.
This really shows how much she cares for him.
Well, I guess if you have to do your thing, I gotta do mine.
The door. It opens,
Pen?
closes.
She definitely shows a lot of strength in this scene, and so does Penn.
He's really learned how to control his powers and to have the courage to protect his friends. He truly speaks for every kid who is different, special, and I hope this continues. Although it does worry me seeing as though Penn and Casey are using their powers at the same time.
Casey mentioned how the portals get hungry if she's not careful.
The portals have become so essential to the plot, and I wonder just how random they can be.
When Dave was on the podcast last week,
he said that everyone is heading in the same direction by the end of this season. I also love how the sound design of Casey's powers have evolved. It really paints a picture of what she's doing.
Come on.
Case, just shoot your shot. He's going to pull us in.
Shooting. Here goes nothing.
Wow, that was such a cool transition into the theme music.
And there are so many questions to be asked.
First of all, where is the portal taking them? I'd like to think Neverland, but I just don't think that's the case. Rather, I think River and Sam are gonna have to face the cams by themselves. Here's my prediction. I believe the portal will transport them to Berlin, Germany, 1989.
As we know, the portals are not limited to space and time.
And Dave said that everyone is heading in the same direction by the end of Season 4. Holiday and Birdie have been trying to work with Penn and Casey, so I'm curious to see if they could make something work over the time phone. Also, I really loved the sound of the portal.
And the reaction from Remy's mom was just perfect.
Was it because I was near the time phone when it exploded? And more importantly, is it going to keep happening?
Man, I hope not.
Right, so the time phone was built at the beginning of Season 3, and since then, so much has happened.
I'm glad Brinley brought up the time phone.
I don't think the device itself caused such a big reaction throughout space and time. However, I think the fact that two of the same person were communicating caused it. And the title for episode 30 was Out of the Space-Time Continuum, and I think that's a clue as to what's going on.
The wonkiness Brinley mentioned certainly has something to do with that.
Now, I think the question boils down to, how can Brinley and Kady prevent similar events from happening? I think it's great that old Brinley got to see her parents together, but either way, we don't want characters shifting throughout time anymore.
Go. Right. Feel better.
Medical emergency. Lab 12.
The scene really felt like a sitcom moment.
From the performance to the music cue, it was perfect.
Don't get me wrong, the humor in Six Minutes has always been top tier,
But I just love the focus on it now.
I definitely find myself laughing, and that just points to the great writing we're seeing. On Rewind, both Dave and Chris agreed that it's easier to write jokes because of all the history we have with the characters. I imagine it's more difficult to do so with other shows that are shorter.
It's harder to write chemistry.
As for the scene itself, I think Kady was smart to cause a distraction. Brinley can at least try to get to Cyrus, and it's really clever. I just can't wait to see what these two characters do together again. And I just love how much Brinley cares for Cyrus.
What will they do next? I'm not sure.
Move out of Cyrus's way.
You make that look very easy.
Kinda is. Yawn.
With every episode, Angel and Cyrus's relationship is reforming. Cyrus has certainly shown his support and dedication, and so has Angel.
Cyrus mentioned something that I really enjoyed.
He said, "I love when you use your powers for good." And I think that's so true.
She's in a similar position to Penn.
They've both learned how they've been controlled and are working to do the right thing. I also love how Angel can be lighthearted in difficult situations. She keeps things positive, and it probably feels good to have somebody like Cyrus in her corner.
I think they'll make for a great team.
I really hope Angel and Cyrus don't get separated again. Angel's been alone for such a long time, never having somebody to, just hang out with her.
I don't want her to end up in that same situation.
Maybe she can help you turn off your powers. I mean, if that's something you would want to try out, live a normal life. Just a thought.
I'll think about it. Now go!
That was very interesting, and Judah said before that time is like a river.
Everything that happens in the past could affect the future.
How will Angelica's future change if Angel decides to turn off her powers? It's a difficult decision to make, however I don't think she should. She has an extraordinary ability that could be used for good. Before making a big choice like this,
I think Angel should think about how this could affect the timelines.
Everything Angel does right now is vital, and she knows that. I can't wait to see how they navigate this situation, and it will be great. I also love the music cue from Cyrus the Lost Tapes. Its rhythm is perfect, and it's a great callback to the decisions Angel had to make in that miniseries.
Oh, what was that? Who did that?
It's called a beaker, dummy. Who are you?
Who are you? And are you throwing things at me in my lab?
This was so unexpected, and I love it.
I kinda thought Little Bryn was a once-and-done situation, but I'm glad she's not. I love her sass, and she really is a perfect representation of who Brinley is at that age. And I can really picture her throwing the beaker.
I mean, it's perfect.
Going back to that comedic aspect of Season 4, the beaker really completes the scene. But this makes me wonder what happened to Kady and Brinley. Are they still together, or did they get separated? Also, because Kady was in her correct timeline, is that why there's not a little Kady? That would have been cool to see, but either way, the scene is great. One final thing, what happened to everyone else in Cyrus's lab?
Did they just decide to leave, or did something else happen to them?
My name is Cyrus.
Did you say your name is Sinus?
Sinus? Oh my... Brinley?
What a cool cliffhanger. We saw how Kady struggled with Lil Bryn, and I imagine Cyrus will have a similar experience.
And honestly, I can't blame her for acting this way.
She was safe at home with her parents, and then wound up facing a random tall boy. I just love the scene so much, and it was already confirmed that we will see more beakers in the next episode.
Thank you all so much for listening.
I love bringing you guys exciting new interviews, so please follow the podcast wherever you listen.
Until next time, this is Landon saying peace, love, and time travel.